Madison!
Madison?
How are you doing today?
Not great. Not great, actually.
Yeah?
Not great.
You can be real
Actually.
here. Not great?
Not great. I was telling you before we started recording, take care of your rhomboids.
You did.
Folks, if you don't know what a rhomboid is, it's the muscle in your back next to the shoulder. I pulled mine working out maybe half a year ago, and recently I don't know what exactly happened, but the boyd was pulled again. I'm in a lot of pain. They should put me down.
Oh my gosh.
They should put me down.
You know,
like a horse with a broken leg.
We did name one of the episodes like a rhomboid or something. I forget when that was, but that was like whenever you pulled it before.
Oh, did we?
We had talked about this. I remember.
We have traced the history of my my rhomboid injuries across episodes, apparently.
Yes, we have. I remember that vividly.
Do we have nothing more interesting to talk about?
Than your bodily issues? No. Your bodily... Actually, I'm curious. Before we recorded, you did tell me how you pulled the rhomboid.
Potentially, I was playing pool the other night.
Potentially.
There's a lot of leaning. There's a lot of...
not thrusting, but like a thrusting of your arm.
Arm thrusting.
Thrust.
A whole number of things can go wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that exactly, because I played pool plenty of times without issue. But yeah, I woke up. Maybe I slept on it wrong.
Yeah.
And it's so hard because I don't know where exactly the rhomboid is located in the body. I can't triangulate it outside of just a general area.
I think...
Reporting for duty. But so they're going to put me down. Folks, it's been a real good run.
Well, it's been really nice knowing you, and if this is our last episode, then hopefully you've brought something to the table that will take us out with a bang. Take you out with a bang.
That's crazy because this is one of the shorter scripts I have.
Oh my gosh!
So it's not even like a
yikes
super interesting episode. What's new in your life, huh?
Oh my gosh! I've been both super busy and super not busy. Like I feel like I'm in this weird state where like I do a lot, obviously, because I do so many things, including this. But like I've been
brag
like,
about it.
It's been like tapering. What?
Go ahead, brag.
Brag about it.
Brag about it.
But it's kind of like tapering off now, where things are getting less busy, which has been nice because now I'm able to catch up on things that I haven't had time to do, which is just like general life maintenance. So that's been
general life maintenance.
Yeah, general life maintenance, like being a general life maintenance at your service.
At your service.
I hate it.
Excellent.
So now I'm like getting back into the swing of things, I'm trying to be better about routines in general. Like I have
lots of generals. Okay, please continue.
I don't even know how to title this episode, but just lots of generals.
Well, I'm going to be titling this episode because I'm editing and uploading.
That's right.
So general life maintenance.
General life maintenance at your service.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, just like trying to be better about routines and habits. I think I talked to a therapist about this. I think my problem, it's not a will problem, and it's not...
Don't bring will into this.
Jeez. It's not an action, like an ability problem or a will problem. It's like a focus problem for me.
Focus?
Yes, and that's, specifically a huge area that I need to work on since I have ADHD.
Yeah.
And I'm trying, but like I think what's happening is there's so many things I want to focus on all at once. There's so many things I want to fix that like instead of being able to like maintain everything, I'm like setting fires out. So like I'm just like like with a fire extinguisher just like all around my life when I need to learn to not set the fires.
I see.
Yeah.
It's a focus problem.
Yeah.
ADHD. Taking plenty of drugs for it, right? So it should be fine.
I am taking plenty of drugs for it. And you'd think that would make it just go away.
Yeah.
But apparently it doesn't. Apparently you need to do some more work too. Like you get drugs to help you be able to settle the voices in your mind, but they never really go away.
So interesting that you bring up voices in your mind.
Yeah.
Because that's actually what I'm going to be talking about today.
Okay. Amazing.
But something that's always helped me with, the chatter in my head and issues, anxieties.
You don't have chatter in your head, though.
Well, anxious thinking, that kind of thing.
Okay.
I do have, like, it emerges sometimes.
Thoughts.
Most of the time, it's the hum of the AC. But then every once in a while, and then I start to spiral.
I'm envious of that.
Sorry, I had no thought there in response. But whatever helps me whenever I get into those spirals, is that, I think, where is this actually coming from? Like, I don't want to treat the symptom. What is the source of this?
See, I try to do that.
Yeah.
And the problem is there are so many sources. There's a lot of things going on in this brain.
Yeah.
This big old noggin of mine, Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Between trauma.
Well, let's speak on that.
Let's speak on that.
Let's talk about your trauma today.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot to clean up there. And I don't know if it'll ever go away.
Jesus Christ. Well, I guess welcome to my existential crisis. We're having one right now.
Yeah.
The podcast where we talk about all the things that make us question
our entire sense of self.
My name is Dylan.
And my name is Madison.
You know Socrates. You go back a ways, right? You go way, way back a ways.
Oh, yeah. We're tight.
Uh-huh. What's lesser known about Socrates was his relationship with an inner voice he referred to as a daimonion.
Okay. Like a diamond?
Daimonion.
A diamond?
Daimonion.
Daimonium.
Daimonion.
Daimonion?
Daimonion.
A daimonion?
Spelled Daimonion.
Okay.
So think onion, but with dime.
Daimonion.
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 That's correct. Now, this inner voice gave him warning signs to help him avoid making bad decisions. It was always helpful, never gave explanation for its guidance, and served as a sort of advisor that was vocal when it disagreed and silent when it approved.
Okay.
Socrates was the only one who heard this voice, and he never asked it for a sign or to impart general knowledge. Reporting for duty.
General knowledge at your service.
That joke really needs to die.
You're the one who keeps making it, man.
Yeah. Now, instead, this voice manifested to help with immediate decision-making in concrete situations. Ironically enough, his admission that he was receiving information from this voice made him a strange outsider in Athens. And eventually, he was accused of introducing what my research called a religious innovation, which I assume means some kind of unsanctioned change to the religious status quo.
I bet, yeah.
Inventing new gods.
Like Protestantism.
Lutheranism.
Yeah. Exactly. All those things.
Uh-huh. Exactly. And now that accusation contributed to him being sentenced to death and executed.
Oh, shit.
Yikes. Yeah, oh, shit.
I didn't think I knew that.
Yeah, you're about 2,400 years late. But yes. For Socrates, his life ended in his execution, but the concept of a daimonion continued. Kept alive by Socrates. Oh, holy fuck. When I was writing this, let me just take a step back here. I kept reading in my head Socrates, right? Not Socrates. Socrates. Like Aristotle? Socrates. Plato. Now, kept alive by Socrates' pupils Xenophon and another philosopher you likely know, Plato. Platonists, or followers of Plato, had their own ideas about the voice. They regarded it as a high-ranking daimon, a divine entity that served as a personal guardian spirit. Christian authors considered it part guardian angel and part demon.
Didn't you say it was pronounced Daimonion?
It is pronounced Daimonion. However, the name and the concept sort of changed over time. It was just passed between people and ideas.
Okay. And I know that we just addressed this, but again, I thought that like Socrates was like revered for his thinking.
Yes.
And so like now that his thinking is like, hey, I hear another voice, they're like,
right. Something also interesting is that Socrates was revised for his rationalism.
Yeah.
And his logical approach to the world.
Yeah.
And yet he took counsel from this entity that
doesn't really fall into that logical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that irony that I don't want to call it hypocrisy necessarily, but that irony.
But it's very ironic.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I don't think I knew that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So let's get into the significance of daimons.
Yes.
In Greek mythology, religion, and philosophy, a daimon is either a god or a godlike spirit. It lies in a middle position between humans and gods, either helping or hurting. Sounds a lot like the word demon, which I'll get into in a bit, but they're not demons in the malicious sense, at least not all of the time.
Is it spelled Daemon and it's pronounced Daimon?
So at the moment, it's spelled Daimon.
Daimon.
Daimon,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like in the case of Socrates, his daimonion was a helpful guide who aided decision-making.
I see. Okay.
Daimons were generally seen as some kind of higher power that occupied a superhuman sphere of existence, lending direction to the people that they interacted with.
Okay.
And feelings began to shift during the Roman imperial period, which spanned from 27 BC to 476 AD. Instead of the inner voice being ambiguous and mysterious, it was instead labeled a personal patron god. It was assumed that every person, or at least every good person, has a daimon as their own individual protector.
Like a guardian angel.
Very similar to that idea.
That's so funny that it's been introduced like that early on, and it's this gets me every time. We talked about this before, but like it's crazy to me how much like these central themes that like either just as an example, like from Christianity, get like more like are taken and derived from a lot of like pagan thoughts. Like
yes.
It's really fascinating how culture like has changed and evolved, yet it all kind of stems from the same ideas.
Certainly. Now I'm curious, you mentioned, voices in your head. I mean, let's pare that down a little bit. You mentioned a voice like your own inner dialogue, right? Have you ever felt like yeah, it just pops up. Have you ever felt like that has ever been separate from your own consciousness?
No, it is my consciousness. I've never felt that it's like something else. It's just like the voice that I hear in my head. Sounds like I'm insane.
Yeah.
The voice that I hear in my head like is me. Like it just is my consciousness. Like I am envious of people who do not hear that inner voice nonstop, and those who hear and can identify a separate voice, because that's not the case, unfortunately.
That's interesting. So you tie it to your own personal identity.
Yeah.
It speaks in your voice.
Yes.
That's so interesting. So you hear in your mind's ear your own voice.
For the most part, yeah.
That's so curious.
It's kind of like, you know how when you dream, you can't actually see faces? Your brain just kind of makes it up.
Yeah, it pulls faces from what you've already seen, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. So like I'm not hearing anything, but I know it's me.
That's
if
good.
That makes sense.
If you start to hear things, please contact a medical professional.
911, folks.
Yeah. So similar to the belief in guardian angels, this, as we were talking about, this kind of idea persists. And over the following centuries, there was a lot of conversation about the nature of daimons. Early Christian writers translated daimon into the Latin word daemon, creating the origin of the word demon.
Okay. That's where we got with it.
And as we know, the demon became a force for evil far from its origins with Socrates.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to add something I thought was fun as well. The concept of a daemon in modern computing. So, why is that funny?
I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny how we go from like philosophical and religion to modern computing.
Yeah, modern computing.
You know, male daemons.
Yes. Please take out your modern computing manual and follow along. Now, a daemon is basically a background process that works quietly without any kind of direct user interaction. Just like how a daimon works quietly in the background, lending help when necessary.
I'm sorry. I mentioned this show far too much, but... Are
you going to talk about Bob's Burgers?
No.
Okay, what show?
Beach 2 Sandy Water 2.
They don't sponsor us. They don't give us fucking shit.
But I've listened to... The reason I'm bringing it up is because they just had a conversation on their podcast, funnily enough, about male daemons. And they were like, you've never gotten a male daemon before? And Zandy was like, no, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So they had like this whole conversation about male daemons. And I just think it was so funny how now we're having this conversation and it's tying back to computing. And like, I'm sorry.
Not just computing. Modern computing.
Modern computing.
Yes. And we're not talking about Matt Damon's either.
No. That's a whole other entity.
Yes, that's a whole other episode.
Yeah.
Entity. Matt Damon is an entity.
An entity.
Now, you might have made this connection already, but are there any past episodes that this concept reminds you of?
I mean, there's a couple, I would say. We talked about, like, I think of, like, the Bashar, yeah.
What? Bashar.
Bashar. It reminds me of Bashar and the voice that he claims to hear and like emit through himself. It reminds me of like, what's the word? Lucid dreaming and like the interdimensional like brain jumping. What was that one called?
That one was, we were talking about Scott Bakula.
Yes.
And we were talking about parallel reality shifting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of that. Is there something else that I'm missing? Because there's other things that it definitely reminds me of. I just don't think I know the names of them.
There is one very particular thing.
Fuck.
In episode 53, you talked about third man syndrome.
Oh, yes. Okay. I did thought you meant like what you presented. I'm sorry.
Oh, gotcha.
I knew that one. Yeah.
Now, also known as the third man factor, it refers to situations where an unseen presence provides comfort, support, and guidance during traumatizing experiences. Now, in your episode, you mentioned Ernest Shackleton, Reinhold Messner, and many other adventurers have come forward with their own accounts, like mountain climber Joe Simpson, real person, fake-sounding name, who recounted his near-death experience in the Peruvian Andes.
Yeah, we talked about that one, didn't we?
Did we?
Was that the one where his brother had passed away?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think so.
Maybe it was a different one. There was a shocking amount of Peruvian Andes hiking incidents.
Folks, if you have a vacation scheduled to the Peruvian Andes,
maybe don't.
Yeah, go somewhere else in Peru. Now, he described a voice that encouraged and directed him as he crawled back to base camp after suffering a leg injury.
Yeah, this was the one.
Now, this isn't one-to-one with the daimonion described by Socrates, but it has some interesting similarities. A voice that only you can hear, that guides you in your decision-making. And it makes me wonder, is this voice some kind of disconnected part of our consciousness that operates separately from our waking mind? Maybe it's latent and only emerges in periods of stress, or maybe, if you've developed strong enough control of your mind, you have access to this separate twin consciousness. This is in line with the beliefs of certain ancient scholars who suggested that your mind had to be disciplined to hear your daimon.
I think that's also so, again, not to keep interrupting, but like, again, there's so many parallels with like disciplining your mind and like, even if you think of like yoga and meditation and things like that, like it's all about disciplining your mind to quiet and to hear certain things that it might just have a different word for it.
Yeah.
But like it's kind of the same premise. Like people as far back as civilization have been talking about ways to control body and mind, and it's just I just think it's fascinating how it evolves and like changes through modern day.
Yeah, certainly. And it diverges quite a lot because some people suggest that disciplining your mind quiets it.
Yes.
While other scholars suggest that disciplining your mind allows you to hear into other realms.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder about intuition as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Is our sense of intuition an undeveloped diamond that doesn't have the capacity to speak?
You know, I think I like that thought. Like maybe you're just not in tuned enough to your intuition for it to speak. But it's the same kind of like people can't explain intuition beyond like evolutionary traits or like warning signs that your body has. But like the science behind it is very minimal. I'm a scientist, guys.
This is a scientist that is speaking across from me. This is a science podcast.
A science doctor podcast.
This is a Dr. Science. Thank you very much for your opinion.
Thank you.
It also, pause here for thinking. Dylan, feel free to cut this out. Fuck it. I don't remember. Now, I feel like that's a good segue to get into additional theories. So let's start with one that's been on my mind. Pause for laughter, pause for laughter, pause for laughter. All right, that's fucking dumb. Yep. Can more than one consciousness emerge from a brain?
Okay.
We think of a brain as containing only one consciousness, and that's usually true. In our own experience, we have the one consciousness we operate from. It contains one sense of identity, one personality, singular control over our body. But what if a brain is capable of producing multiple consciousnesses? Conchni, if you will.
Conchni.
What if they emerge like tiny bath bubbles on the outside of the largest bubble? They're never big or powerful enough to take control, but they still exist, and they still have their own thoughts and processing.
See, this sounds like DID.
You know, it's funny you bring that up because we know that it's possible.
Yeah.
Look at dissociative identity disorder.
Also known as split personality syndrome.
Previously known as multiple or split personality disorder.
Yeah.
Did you read the script in advance?
No, I know a lot about that.
You do?
I do. I know a lot about split personalities and multiple personalities for multiple reasons, because that's just where my brain takes me. Not that I have multiple personalities.
Well, you're a doctor and a scientist.
I am a doctor, so naturally it's an area of study for me.
Well, you have two personalities.
I do.
Doctor and
scientist.
Right.
Precisely.
But where was your interest in this research coming from?
Well, for example, it's part of like the weird sector that I like to go down. Kind of like I've always been interested in it as long as I've heard about it. And like I remember I was in psychology class in like 10th grade, and I had known about it beforehand, but I went like really deep into it. There is a specific case, and I'm now blanking on the name of it, but it's probably one of the most popular ones. Sybil.
Yes.
Sybil.
Yes.
I did like a deep dive into Sybil. There was a musical written about it. I've never seen it. I don't think it was ever actually put on, but I found the script online.
Yeah.
And I used to do this thing called forensics, which is like a speech competition. And drama was one of the categories of it. So I edited the script down so that I could be Sybil, and I played her multiple personalities in like the dramatization of it.
Was it a one-woman play?
Yes, one woman.
That was pretty good.
It was pretty cool. But beyond that, like, yeah, I've just been like fascinated with the idea of that, and I think it's fascinating how, I mean, we know there's so much that's unknown about that specific disorder itself, and like people are accused of faking it, and like, is it actually what people think it is, or is it something different?
Yeah.
But we know that your brain, if there's trauma to your brain, it'll forget things and it'll compartmentalize. So it feels very natural that if it were compartmentalizing and your trauma is severe enough, and not that it needs to be severe for you to have DID, but if that's the way that your mind is processing things, why wouldn't it break off into a separate entity or personality for it to just live so that you don't have to be affected by it? Like, we know that your brain does a lot of crazy shit to protect you emotionally and mentally. And so like, why couldn't that be an option?
And there are some criminals who have actually attributed their crimes to separate personalities.
Yes, and that's also one of the reasons I've done a deep dive, because a lot of them are like, how do you prove it? How do you prove that that is actually what you're experiencing?
Right.
And how do you prove, like, it's kind of like the insanity argument. Like, how do you prove that you are not knowing of what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. It gets very complicated. I imagine that anybody who brings this sort of DID defense into the courtroom, it just makes everyone else like put their fucking face in their hands and be like, oh, Jesus, we're gonna have to go through so much now. Literally,
because you have to bring in psychologists and all these different things, and yeah.
Now, in dissociative identity disorder, there are distinct identities or personalities that take control of a person's behavior. And that's more of an extreme example, but it's confirmed as being real.
Yeah.
So let's keep going. Split brain patients, people who have had their brains severed to treat epilepsy.
What?
Will sometimes behave like each hemisphere has its own independent will and awareness.
I have not heard of this. Wait.
Yeah. Some extreme treatments for epilepsy have the doctor splitting the corpus callosum down the middle.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And
like
each hemisphere of the brain has its own will and awareness.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so how does... I have so many questions. I'm so sorry. Like, do they still do this?
I'd imagine so. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, there's so many medical procedures that exist today that feel like they shouldn't be allowed anymore.
Look at epidurals. That's crazy.
Epidurals for pregnancy?
Yeah. Like, the way that... Do you know how epidurals work?
They inject something into the spine. Am I correct?
They put... Yes, but constantly.
Constant?
Yes. You essentially have an IV in the small of your back to run down and throw medication on those nerves to numb it. So you constantly have this open IV in this very dangerous part of your back where you're laying, and it's constantly running numbing through it. And it doesn't always take, because everyone's backs are different. Everyone has different, placements of nerves and shit. So sometimes it doesn't take, sometimes it does, and it numbs half of you. Like, it feels very archaic for modern medicine.
Yeah.
to just like, we don't have a better solution besides just pouring numbing medicine into like an open wound, essentially.
Holy hell, I never knew that.
Yeah.
I just thought an epidural was a shot that you just get in your spine.
See, that's what I thought for the longest time. And I don't think I fully realized until my sister had one. And I was like, this is fucked. Like, this stays in your back. This long ass tube stays in your back. It's crazy. And if you move, sometimes they have to redo it. Sometimes it hurts. Obviously, it hurts getting it put in. But like, it just being there hurts. Like, it's wild.
Honestly, the horrors of childbirth could be its own episode.
Yeah, very well could be.
So going back to split brain patients, each hemisphere of the brain can process and act on information the other hemisphere doesn't have access to.
Okay.
And that's pretty weird, but here's another take. In cognitive science, the brain is considered a collection of semi-independent modules or agents. And these modules can process information in parallel and create multiple streams of subjective experience that don't merge into one. And even in a normal brain, the self might just be the dominant narrative among many competing processes.
Can you re-explain that?
Sure.
Sorry.
So in cognitive science, the brain is a collection of somewhat independent, agents or modules that process information next to each other in parallel at the same time.
They're not like interacting necessarily with each other. They're like kind of separate. Okay.
And they're creating multiple streams of subjective experience.
Yes.
And those don't always merge into one subjective experience.
Okay.
They can exist separately.
Okay.
So the idea is that, apart from the dominant narrative that you have from one of these streams, you also have other streams of subjective experience happening at the same time. And who's to say that one of these streams of subjective experience that's happening in parallel with your current waking life can't interface with you through a voice in your head?
Yeah.
As super sciencey, I don't fully understand it. So if there's something there that I missed, don't tell me. But yeah, let's explore another idea. The idea that these people are channeling.
Okay.
Yeah. Now
I think that was the word I was looking for earlier that I couldn't think of.
Yeah, and you mentioned the episode of Bashar
Yes.
A little bit earlier. But we covered channeling in episode 52 on Bashar, the extraterrestrial, the entity that communicates through Mr. Anka. Daryl, not Paul.
Daryl, not Paul.
To provide some background information for those who haven't listened to that episode, Daryl Anka has the supposed ability to channel an alien entity, allowing it to speak through him. He allegedly doesn't come up with that information himself. So what if people with a link to a daimon are unintentionally channeling? They have a channel open at all times, allowing an entity to not necessarily speak through them, but to speak to them. Now, there are so many potential explanations that it's hard to narrow things down. What do you think is going on here? Do you think it's a guardian spirit, a disconnected aspect of her consciousness, an entity that's being unintentionally channeled, or something else?
I think it's kind of a mixture of those / something else. So I have a friend, and
nice. News to me.
I have a singular...
showing off. I have a friend. Okay. Must be nice.
I have a friend, and he was telling me how he's very sensitive to like spirits and things like that, and I am also very envious of that because I want to be. I that's so cool to me, and I feel like it's kind of like a mixture of that, like people who are just like more in tuned in that kind of regard, and I feel like maybe there's some cross there. Like I don't know, but it made me think of that because he was saying about how there's been a lot of times where he'd like walk into a place and he like, there's like something really weird about this, the energy is super heavy, like I'm getting like, he doesn't explain it as like someone talking to him, but it's basically like the feeling version, like the intuition part of that. And so then he'll ask around and be like, hey, like what, something's not right here. And then he'll learn about something that had happened there, or like something that like there's weird shit going on. So he's very in tune with that type of thing. And he's mentioned before that like he can feel things that just like kind of carry with him around him. Like they kind of attach to his energy. So I think like that might have something to do with it. Just be like people having more open channels, like you're saying, it's like an unintentional channel coming through you, like you don't realize it, or like just being more sensitive to certain energies. Or I don't know, but I think that it's fascinating.
And one of the things we've discussed in past episodes is that children are more sensitive to these kinds of things. And over time, we take on more like ideological baggage, more belief systems, and we crowd ourselves with all of this, all this information, while in a way sort of muddying our ability,
for sure,
our innate ability, to be in touch with higher realms,
100%.
spirits, the supernatural. And some people don't have it at all. Some people are more sensitive. Maybe those people, they had different experiences during really formative times in their lives, growing up, developing. And maybe they didn't have the same, environment that kind of like crowded out those signals that other people have. And maybe those people are more easily able to be in contact with a daemon or a diamond or a Daimonion or whatever the fuck it's called. Daimonion.
I also think, though, like, it could be the flip of it, though. I think, like, we had talked about, like, how people say, like, either quieting your mind can help you be exposed to those things or help you, like, shut those things off. Like, I like how you're saying it could be, like, either one. I think it could be either, all these cultural experience, maybe that muddies your perspective, but also it might also help to open some of those things. Like people who feel these things as a guardian angel. Obviously, there's a very like Christian-based ideology there behind that.
Yeah.
So even though they might be muddied with all these different cultures, that having that might help to bring that out a little bit more because it's something that they cling to a little bit more strongly, a little bit more fiercely.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
And our perception is very much formed by our belief systems.
Yeah.
So,
one person's daemon is another person's guardian onion.
That's correct. Great title for the episode.
Thank you.
Now, I think it could be as simple as just misidentifying your inner dialogue as something separate and divine.
I think so too as well. I think part of it might be that, and like we talked about before, like some intuition to it.
Yeah, and I also think that it's not entirely impossible that is communication from another entity.
Yeah.
Consider the concept of tulpas, for example.
I'm sorry?
Tulpas, for example. Consider the concept of tulpas.
Tulpa.
For example.
That sounds
tulpas,
like a type of folk dance.
It does. Where accordions are involved.
Yes. You're going to tulpa?
Uh-huh. Now, tulpas could have their own episode, and I might explore that more in the future. But in short, a tulpa is essentially a thought form that acts independently within your own mind. You give them an appearance, voice, personality, and then let them free within your mental space.
What does that mean?
Basically, from what I've researched about this in the past, people who create tulpas project the image of like this thought form in their mind, and they feed it their energy. And they give it an appearance and a voice and a personality, and then they allow it, they foster it until it becomes its own separate entity that exists within their head.
Like Barney.
Exactly. Exactly like Barney.
Like Barney the dinosaur.
Exactly like Barney the dinosaur.
Everybody's favorite imaginary dinosaur.
I was just thinking that.
That was literally the first thing, like not even ironically, that was the first thing that popped into my mind as you were describing this.
Did you have Barney as a imaginary friend?
No, but I loved Barney growing up. The Barney movie, did you ever watch that? With the egg, the rainbow egg? Fucking love that rainbow egg. I think about that rainbow egg more than I should as an adult.
I've never heard of this shit.
Really?
No. The rainbow egg?
There's a rainbow egg, and I forget the premise of the movie. I watched it a long time ago, but there was a parade at the end, and Barney had gotten the rainbow egg, and I think it was a magical egg that was for imagination purposes. I don't know. Imagination purposes.
Madison's eyes are bloodshot right now. There's a vein popping out of her forehead.
Guys, this was pivotal in my childhood.
Yeah, okay.
This, Cats, the Broadway musical on DVD.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, those together. Follow That Bird, the Sesame Street one. Those three movies were my childhood.
Well, basically, a topic can be anything you want. It can be Barney. It could be a rainbow egg. It could be a cat from the musical Cats on DVD.
Rum Tum Tugger.
It could be Rum Tum Tugger. It could be Mephistopheles. It could be Mr. Mistopheles. It can be what's another one of the fucking stupid names?
Grisella.
Grisella.
Yeah.
And there are whole communities of people who participate in what's called tulpamancy.
See? That's a dance.
Go down to your local honky tonk and enjoy some tulpomancy. So these are essentially people who create entities for companionship, assistance with tasks, and so on.
Oh.
Now, following that, Socrates might have created a tulpa unintentionally.
Like a personal AI assistant?
Yes.
How does that work? I know we're not doing tulpas, we're doing daemons, but I'm just fascinated.
Well, it's much like how you create an AI assistant in like an AI platform. So you program it with what you want it to do. You give it a name, whatever aspects you want.
Like an imaginary friend, but it takes over tasks for you?
Yeah, that serves a certain purpose.
In your body?
In your body.
Your body.
That's right.
Oh.
What?
No. Sorry. My mind went to a really dark place.
Go ahead. This is a dark podcast.
I was going to say that would be really good for people who have really terrible jobs or like people who do go through trauma. Like if they want to compartmentalize things and they know they have to do certain things.
So if you just like...
I was thinking prostitution.
Holy fuck.
I told you it got dark.
Yeah. Where the fuck is this episode
I
going?
don't know.
What is this podcast?
I don't know. I feel like this is a really good... if this were the last one, I feel like this would be a really good combination of everything we've talked about. This is just it.
So, I mean, I guess there's a possibility of creating a tulpa strong enough that you can disassociate and let it control you while you get up to your various misdeeds. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I've met misdeeds. She's great. But I haven't really given it much thought.
Well, I've just given it too much thought right now. I've just now given everything too much thought. Between Barney and prostitution,
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. That's just, I can't, it's just...
Jesus Christ. Where is this podcast going?
Dylan's pulling out like a glass of whiskey.
Yeah. Now, all of this to say that there's a long history of housing extra consciousnesses in your brain. This isn't a new thing, and it's not necessarily a negative thing. While it can be debilitating and difficult for people with dissociative identity disorder, it can also be a positive presence that's helpful and even life-saving, like in the case of Shackleton, Mesner, and Simpson.
Three-man syndrome.
Now, I'm not sure if we'll have a concrete resolution to this topic in our lifetime. All we can really do is speculate. But I wanted to bring things back around to something I found interesting mentioned at the start of this episode. So Socrates was accused of introducing an unsanctioned change to the religious status quo, and that accusation contributed to him being sentenced to death and executed. During his trial, his inner voice was silent. Even as Socrates acted recklessly in court, ultimately accepting his death penalty. And this led Socrates to conclude that the absence of a divine warning meant that his death was not, in fact, a bad thing, and he had no reason to consider death an evil.
Okay.
Otherwise, the voice would have intervened.
That's oddly comforting.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to see so many of our past episodes sort of weaving together as well. What we've discussed about the Himalayan Book of the Dead.
Yeah. And
how death isn't seen as an evil, but as a transition. To our episodes on third man syndrome and channeling. It's beginning to feel a little more cohesive. And to our listeners, I hope you continue to join us as we piece together the great mystery, and maybe one day we'll have something that feels like the beginning of an answer.
Damn.
Sources are Wikipedia, Touching the Void by Joe Simpson, Minsky's Society of Mind, and Dennett's Multiple Drafts model.
This was probably one of my favorites that you've brought.
Oh.
I think because of how it ties so many things together. Like it was really, really good.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it.
Very well done. Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that. That's
Absolutely.
Really, really interesting.
Interesting stuff. And folks, maybe if you want to give your meditation a particular purpose, you can try to reach out to communicate with a daimon or a daemon, a daimonion, or whatever you want.
Yeah. I had a thought and then it left my brain.
I hope to have a thought one day.
I have a friend.
And that's the best thing in the world.
Yep.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Thanks, Dylan. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
Yep.
If you want more of us, you can find us at ME Crisis Pod on Instagram and Facebook. You can email us at myexistentialcrisispodcast@gmail.com. Dylan, where can they find you?
They can find me at Marblefolk.
And you can find me at my first and my last name.
All right, folks.
Bye.
Bye.